Big money is back on the table today, with Arsenal pushing again for Bruno Guimarães and Manchester City closing in on a record move for Elliot Anderson. Chelsea and AC Milan are both tied to major deals, while PSG, Tottenham and even Al-Hilal all feature in a busy worldwide market. There's also late-stage intrigue around Bayern Munich, plus fresh interest in Mason Greenwood and Sandro Tonali. Let's start with the done deals. This looks like the most advanced deal of the day. Manchester City have reportedly agreed to sign Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest. The fee being quoted is £116 million, while another report puts it at £121 million, so the headline number is clearly in that huge range. The Athletic and The Guardian both say a medical has taken place, with one report even placing it in New York on Friday. On the evidence here, this is firmly in the done category unless something dramatic changes. AC Milan appear to have got this one across the line, with reports saying they've agreed a club record fee for Goncalo Ramos from Paris Saint-Germain. The Athletic says the deal is agreed, while Gazzetta dello Sport adds that the Portugal striker has already undergone a medical. There's also mention that Atletico Madrid were interested, but Milan have seemingly gone over the top with a club record outlay of around €74 million, which is about £67 million. That's strong done deal territory based on the snippets we have. Bayern Munich seem to have won the race for Nathaniel Brown, with the Athletic saying there is an agreement in principle to sign him from Eintracht Frankfurt. Team Talk had that Arsenal and Manchester United considered a late hijack, which tells you there was some competition behind the scenes. The key wording here is agreement in principle, and that usually means the deal is very close to completion. On this evidence, Bayern are ahead and the move looks effectively locked in. Now, the hot rumours. Arsenal are back on the move for Bruno Guimarães, with reports saying they've already had a £55 million offer rejected by Newcastle United and are now preparing a second bid. The numbers being mentioned sit around £55 million to £57 million, so this is clearly a live negotiation rather than a loose link. Fabrizio Romano, ESPN and the Daily Mail are all circling the same story, which adds weight to the idea that Arsenal are serious. Newcastle's stance is still said to be firm, though, so this one looks active but far from settled. Chelsea are in talks for Maxence LACROIX, and the fee being reported is about €55 million, or roughly £47.4 million. Fabrizio Romano says the Blues are still working through the details, while LACROIX goes further and says the Crystal Palace centre-back is expected to complete the move. That's a useful spread of reporting, because it suggests the deal is moving beyond simple interest. At this stage, it sounds advanced and heading in Chelsea's direction. Mason Greenwood is being linked with a move away from Marseille, and Corriere dello Sport says he wants Roma rather than Fenerbahce or Al-Hilal. The same report says Roma could go as high as €50 million, which works out at around £43.1 million, so there is a concrete price point in the mix. That's enough to push this beyond simple speculation, even if it's still framed as a want and an offer rather than a done agreement. Roma look like the front runners, with the other two clubs trailing in the background. Sandro Tonali is drawing strong attention, with the Telegraph saying Manchester City are in talks and Tottenham Hotspur are also courting the Newcastle midfielder. That makes this one more than a simple link, because one club is already in negotiations while another is actively pressing too. There's no fee mentioned, so we don't have a price to anchor it yet, but the club list alone shows real competition. City and Spurs both being named keeps this in the live and watchable category. Paris Saint-Germain are ready to submit a massive offer for Julian Alvarez, with Fitches putting the figure at $227.9 million, or €200 million, which is around £180 million. That's an extraordinary number and would place this firmly among the biggest stories in the market today. The wording is important, though. PSG are ready to bid, not yet confirmed to have had it accepted. So this is very hot, but still at the proposal stage rather than a finished transfer. And finally, the one still on the radar. Manchester United remain in the picture for Crescencio Somerville, with the Athletic saying they're still interested in the West Ham winger. There's no bid, no talks and no fee attached here, just continuing interest. It's also paired in the report with Newcastle left-back Lewis Hall, which suggests this is part of a broader watch list rather than a single decisive chase. For now, this sits firmly in the early rumour zone. AJAX are being linked with Marc-André ter Stegen, with Mundo Deportivo reporting their interest in the Barcelona goalkeeper. There's no fee, no talks and no suggestion of a formal approach here, just a straight interest report. Even so, the fact that AJAX are named specifically means this is more than idle noise. At the moment, though, it remains a pure watchlist story. RAPHINHA is being heavily linked with a move to the Saudi Pro League, but sports say Al-Hilal have prioritized Mohamed Salah instead. That leaves Barcelona in the middle of a story where the destination is there, but the main focus may have shifted elsewhere. There's no bid or fee in the snippet, so this is still more about strategic interest than a live deal. For now, the RAPHINHA angle looks secondary to Al-Hilal's bigger target. Mohamed Salah is the priority for Al-Hilal, according to Sport, with the reports saying they have chosen him ahead of a push for RAPHINHA. There's no movement described beyond that prioritization, so this is very much an interest story rather than an advanced negotiation. Still, when a club is described as prioritizing a player like this, it's worth keeping an eye on. At the moment, though, it's firmly in the early stage. If you want the daily transfer picture without the noise, make sure you're subscribed to the Signing Room. We'll be back tomorrow with the next roundup as this market keeps moving.